So my name is Liliane Held-Khawam, and I am Swiss, and I am a business economist. I have been working since 1989 in big corporates, and I was working on the development of a software for the assessment, for people assessment in companies. And very quickly, I discovered that the assessments were too severe with people, So very quickly, I was involved in development, so people development. So the assessment was very interesting because I could see the strengths and the weaknesses, and after we elaborated a program, development program with training, etc. Okay.
So you saw a lot of those corporate restructuring programs that were firing a lot of people?
They were firing, but I was not working for firing. I never accepted to assess for firing. But I was also working with big companies who wanted really development, who could understand my arguments about development. So I worked a lot during this period of the 90s, where a lot of big companies have been restructuring, and it was very violent, and it was very damaging for people, for their equilibrium, for their health. And so I wanted to two things. I was witnessing how big companies of consultant companies were working on the business process re-engineering, and they are very tough. It was dehumanized, and so I was observing these people, and I wanted to bring something more. So I developed a new kind of management, where I was bringing the human flow in as a complementary to the business process re-engineering, you see. So here you have an example how I have advised to put the manager in the middle of the flow, of the human flow. So it is much more interesting than to work alone or to work in a hierarchical company, you say organization, where you give orders and you receive orders. So here we are going to work together, you see. We are going to evaluate the project together. We are going to bring our complementaries, our soft skills, which are also can be complemented. I developed a new methodology. I think that it didn't exist at that time on the market, which was to bring the human processes with competencies, with soft skills, hard skills, so technical skills, and even physical skills. If you had to travel too much and you can't afford it physically, so the job wouldn't worth it if at the end you are burned out or something like this. So with this methodology, I wrote a book. I published it. I published several articles, and at the end, in 2002, I published the book. And it was based on two hypotheses. One is that the efficiency it brings efficiency to the executive people, and so the manager becomes at the same time a manager, a pilot, and a coach. And at the same time, a second hypothesis is it increases the well-being, because we set up a development plan for the well-being of the person. Okay, so you see, in this methodology, you are going to see things which are going to remind you what you see at the World Economic Forum, you see. But at that time, I guess, alone to organize like this with Circle. This circular organization, my asset was to put together human competencies. So you have the role of the stakeholder, you have the customers, the staff, the supplier, and all is centered, and it's very important for me. Everything you are going to see which comes from my work is centered on human beings. It could be manager, it could be group, it could be the whole human resources of the company. And this is included in an organizational environment, and after the whole thing in an economical environment. So today you see this, but we remember that it is centered on a human, on a person, okay? So here you have a second characteristic of the system is that you are going to interact with your people, not because on the basis of orders, but on the basis of information. So information interactions inside the group, with the outside the group, and after with outside the company, and the whole thing we are working on transversal flows. It's very important because that we will find it also today, okay? And here you have the systemic approach of the organization. It's all based on the body, you see, where you have organs. No organ is better than the other. No one is more important. They are all important, but they are playing different roles. And finally, you are going to find the matrix structure where you have units, business units, and here you are going to have processes which crosses the whole units, okay? So you see, we have get rid of everything which is called pyramid. The pyramid is over for somebody like me from the 90s, the early 90s, so 91, 92, we have finished with pyramid and the orders. What I showed you, those characteristics are quite the same as what you find today, everywhere. Even in public organizations, you are going to find metrics, you are going to find processes, even they are looking for added value in the public service. But there's a major difference between what I have done and what they are doing today. And this difference is existential. Why? Because I have always been working on human people. Here you have the group identity in the middle of the mission, management team, etc. And we are going to see now an organization which is presented by Kate Raworth. She's very famous. She's British, I guess, and she is member of the Club of Rome, Club de Rome. Club de Rome is like everyone knows now Bilderberg. It's, you know, a gathering of people, of the corporates, of political. Even you have the King of Spain or the Queen of Spain in the Club de Rome, like Bilderberg. Quite the same. But they are very important, Club de Rome, because all the sustainable development and all the mess which comes with the sustainable development comes from the Club de Rome. And it was the CEO of this period, the founder of the Club de Rome, was the CEO of Fiat Group, you know, the cars. So, you see, her approach is very important because we leave the sphere of the corporate with my methodology, it was for corporates, for inside the corporate. We leave the corporate to go outside on the public sphere, and this is problematic. This is a very big problem, because we are guessing more and more that they are going to use management, the corporate management, to manage populations outside of the job, outside of corporate, outside of the of the companies.
And what's interesting about this? Yeah.
And this is very interesting because it is centered not anymore on human or people, but on financial flows, you see. And you have human beings are here under household. You have the state, commons, and market. So we are not anymore in a society, you know, which funds, which is going to fund the environment.
So the individual is absent.
Individuals are absent. They are. It's quite a little bit communist with the commons. We put all together, and this kind of project will be developed also, I think, for, you know, smart cities, also on the local side. And what is very important that you are going to see is that households are stuck up between financial flows and economy. And after you reach a society, you see. So what is the existence of people outside of the economy for the new order, the new world? I don't know. You should interview someone who can answer. So you see society and after the earth. Even the earth is centered on the financial flows. Quite a big question mark with this thing. So you ask me, James, how I can summarize this position, like my book, with 5 sentences. So it's very hard because we have 12 chapters. With this book of disposition, it's very important because for me it was as if it was the center of the new organization of the world. Now we can see the book of the chart of Kate Raworth, but I started by disposition because it's all starts with money creation. It has been privatized by financial people, and it has been given to the big commercial banks, and they are lending money they don't have. And you are, after you have the credit, you have to give them back money they didn't have at the beginning. So they became very, very rich, and they could finance a lot of the new organization of the world. And and the first income they have are the states, the public debt. So this public debt, unfortunately, the central bankers admitted this creation of money. Normally, it is forbidden in the constitution, and it would be as a false money, you see. But the central bankers admitted this, so they could print money as much as they want, as long as you bring something in exchange. You bring a counterpart. So this is very important because it explains why the financial flows are the central of everything in the new world. The blood of the new world is not anymore human being, is not anymore planet, is not anymore life on the planet. It is financial. They have everything. They own everything, and even here you have the Financial Post, who wrote an article a few years ago in 2017, and he says that by 2028, BlackRock and Vanguard could own almost everything in the world, not in the States. So this concentration of money came from a concentration, a coordination between central bankers under the leadership of the BIS. And it will have many consequences on many levels. The most important is that they are going to break the market, and they are going to cap the GDP, the national GDP of every country. If you take over the GDP, the national GDP, because you are Amazon, you are Microsoft, you are etc., the country doesn't have any substance anymore, you see? So they are collapsing. You add the debt, they lose their GDP, they lose the public power, and you have whom? You have the big corporates, okay? Here I have put, you can find it on Wikipedia, it's very easy. You check primary dealers to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and you have the list of the people of the banks who are allowed to print the money to the public securities. Okay?
There's a lot of foreign banks on there.
You have foreign banks because the idea is that if you have the Japanese one, he creates money, he has securities, and after he is going to sell it to his own central bank or to his government, you see? So if you have the Swiss UBS, UBS is going to sell some securities to SNB, the Swiss National Bank. Crédit Agricole, maybe you have here, or Société Générale, yeah. Société Générale, you don't have Crédit Agricole. You have Société Générale is going to sell to the French government. And it's all like this. Like this, they have disseminated all over the world their debt. So the debt of the US debt became the debt of everyone on the planet. So if the US has a problem with the debt, we have also a problem with their debt. It's a very clever system, huh? Mm-hmm. It's very, very clever. They privatize the benefits, and they give you in exchange all kind of debts and all kind of risks. You are the final warrant of those bankers. This is sure. Huh? So, and now today you find them on the panel of the CEPI, which is the a group who prepares, for the pandemics. Huh? I want just to tell you with the second book, which is called Coup d'État planétaire. I wrote it in 2019 before the COVID. I was waiting for the reduction of the mobility. I was waiting for what we are seeing today. Why? It's not because of a virus. I would have never thought about the virus, but the whole system, which you could find, several treaties and all these things, they were setting up the system we are living in. The social distances are going to stay because it's not only a problem of virus, it's a problem of new organization of the society.
So that's what you think social distancing is?
The social distancing is because I think that in the new model, if we take again the one of Kate, you don't find that there's much place for to socialize and to go to holidays, and it looks like as if it was all concentrated on money, on economics, on production. So you become, for me, I understand it like this. You have to ask her if she thought something else. But I guess that the notion of the family, of the society, of the couple, of holidays, of breaks, etc., maybe it will not be in the new organization of the society, which could be based on performance, increasing your production, and if you are not too much productive, so I don't know what could happen. Okay. The new book, the Coup d'État Planétaire, is about the end of the public states and the emerging of one worldwide company owned by an elite who is looking also, and we should say it, and we should inform people that they are looking for eternal life. So it is a very serious matter. It is everywhere, you can check it. Yeah. So this was in Coup d'État, at the end of Coup d'État Planétaire. You have the elite. This elite is an elite, a technocratical elite. They are putting norms and rules all over the world to have the same system all over the world. It's a transnational elite. You find politics, you can find inside financial people, you can find people managers, etc. You have the global financial market, who is central, and after you have, I divided because of the book of the subjects which were treated, they now have the hand of almost all the production system all over the world, in every field. You see, everywhere you have an added value, they have the hand on it. This is Vanguard and BlackRock. They are only a representation. Don't miss, don't imagine that they are alone. For sure, they are not alone, but they represent the concentration. Here you have the territories, national territories are becoming corporates. They are corporatized, they are denationalized, and at the end they become like corporates. Okay, so with those two axes, they have almost all the power. When I say they, it's the leaders of the global financial market, not of this elite, but the people who own, the major owners. We don't know them. I'm sorry, we don't know them. Even Bill Gates, he is an ambassador, you see. So all this, we can't finish the book without talking about digitalization. Digitization. Yeah. All this is trapped, we can't say it anymore with other words, in an informational machine with global information systems. And this covers the whole world. You see, I imagine it like a box, you see, and the planet is inside, and everything has to go through and out of this informational machine. So now this is new. We saw it together last time. We still have the same organization, but I represented by family, you see, by family of activities. You have the family of the territories. It could be all over the world, the whole territories of the world, the whole smart cities, and inside you can after divide by region, locality, town, etc. So we have industrial production resources, you have water. The water of the world is managed by a group who is supranational. Yeah. The natural resources also, energy, food, healthcare, security. And all these things are managed on the basis of corporates and private corporates. Even when it was few years ago, it was public. Now, today, it's private. And even if you see the word association or foundation, it is ruled by the private. Here you have the administration with the e-services, and this is cyber administration. It has been set up in Switzerland for now many years. Nobody in the street could know this, but it exists, and it belongs to the same system with private people. You have to give. You have companies inside. You have the GAFAM, but many others. So I wrote that it was one world company. We can call it one worldwide company. Like this, we have WWC, like we have W Economic Forum, WEF. All these things are linked together also by cryptocurrency and accounting, contracts, smart contracts, the health, behaviors of people. Everything is checked, if you want, under the eyes of this elite, which is still here, and the eyes of the informational machine and its whole, informational processes. And in this machine, you are going to find the data, the digitalization, which goes on, the IoT, which is going to give more and more data,
the
Internet of Things, and here you have the Internet of Human. This is important, and if you are not aware, if your viewers are not aware of this, you can go, you can check. They are developing Internet of Human, Internet of Bodies also. And they want us to communicate brain to brain via sensors in the brain, but also somewhere in the body. And this come to reality with the blockchain, with the system of blockchain, which is going to link the whole thing together. This system is very hungry of your statistics, of the databases, and it is a cybernetic system. So cybernetic means that you have a machine which is going to rule all over the world all these things, because they think the people who are behind. So this is the elite. We said before that we have an elite who is looking for eternal life. So they say that they are deified. They will become gods. And because they are billionaires and they are very clever, more than us, and so yeah. So these people are are using this informational machine. They want to use it always. That's why you are under surveillance, more and more under surveillance. And I want just to put you this. You are more and more under surveillance, and we are going to reach a time where private life will be impossible. And here you have Brzezinski, who said in '68, the way international banks and multinational corporations act and plan is more advanced than the political concepts of the nation state. This is '68, and here you have it was '73, I forgot to put the year, the it's a E here, technetronic age implies the gradual appearance of a more controlled society. Such a society would be dominated by an elite cleared of traditional values. I said families, couples, etc. are not maybe in the project of the new society. Soon it will be possible to ensure almost continuous surveillance of every citizen and to maintain complete and up-to-date files containing even the most personal information on the citizen. These files will be subject to automatic retrieval by the authority. We are living it. We are in it today. And here I represented, do you remember, we have the machine informational and we have the One World company. So now we have the informational machine, I split it the both, and the World company, and to show you these interactions which don't stop. And why? Because it's very important for the people who are ruling this machine to get to know just on time what is going on everywhere. And after they analyze it and they send back their own messages. And it could be, that's why you have mass media, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, etc., internet, social networks. Why? Because they can introduce the information they want. They can change your mentality, they can change your way of life. So, what is next? This is important. What is next? It depends on everyone. The door is widely open to merge man with machine. This is next. If nothing happens, unless you abandon the corporatization of the world and put the humanity and the planet back at the center of local, regional, and global strategic policy. So if we want to do something, we need to rehumanize the world and first of all to rehumanize the decision makers. Thank you.